are here to stand up and say that we are not going to allow this to happen, not on our watch. When elected, the first thing I'm going to do, one of the first things, is to shut down these private detention facilities. Right.
That was back when she wanted to be president. That didn't work out too well. Now she's vice president. Let's see how she feels. It was just 2 years ago when then presidential candidate Kamala Harris said the detention facilities were human rights abuses being committed by the government. But now the Biden administration about to reopen many of these facilities, including the Homestead facility in Florida. So what changed? Let's ask National Republican Senatorial Committee chairperson and former Florida governor Rick Scott. Hey, former governor, now turned senator. Do you remember when the former senator, now turned vice president, said that?
Oh, yeah. And by the way, my opponent in 2018 did the same thing. He went down and made a big to-do down at the Homestead Migrant Center. But what a bunch of hypocrites these Democrats are. I mean, first off, they're causing this problem. Stopping the wall, open the borders. They stop the stay in Mexico policy. So now we have these poor migrant kids are being left at the border by their parents to try to get them in here, become citizens, so the parents can eventually become citizens. And by the way, what hypocrites. They won't open up our classrooms, but they brag about in these migrant centers they open up the classrooms. And do you think there's social distancing in these places? Are they doing the COVID test? I mean, the Biden administration, it makes no sense what they're doing. And by the way, it's horrible what the parents are doing to these kids by dropping them at the border. But they're doing it because they want to get to this country. We need to have legal immigration. We need to have a good policy. I'm from an immigration state. We like legal immigration. Let's focus on how do we get people here legally, but you can't come here illegally.
Right. By the way, they're going to open up the Homestead, Florida facility, they think, in April. And Axios reports today the highest February numbers ever seen in history for unaccompanied illegal immigrant kids. In history. It's because the Remain in Mexico policy is gone. The wall has stopped.
That's
a 100-day pause on all deportations. What do you want them to do?
I mean, this makes no sense. And then we have the new senator from Arizona. He votes against doing any border security. When we had the vote-a-rama, we said we need to put money. I had a proposal to put money to make sure we finish the wall, make sure we have border security. He votes against it. I mean, for his own state that's worried about immigration, illegal immigration, so this stuff just doesn't make sense. I mean, right. Biden's killing jobs, open borders, won't open up classrooms. I mean, he didn't talk about this when he was running.
No,
he talked about the opposite. But what did we get?
This was a self-inflicted wound because this is a huge issue that the President Trump had solved. And he opened it up again. Among his critics, a Democrat. AOC says, I think they're lucky that progressives aren't asking for $24, right? Okay, that's the minimum wage. But she was very critical of these facilities. Let's fast forward to talk about minimum wage. So $15 is not going to happen. It's not going to be in this latest rescue bill. Why? Because a parliamentarian says you can't get a simple majority and have that qualify. So it's not going to be in there.
Right.
So they're still going to put in the House bill, which means the Senate's going to vote on it. Without it, means it's got to go back again. The whole thing's going to be delayed. What's your reaction?
Well, first off, we shouldn't be doing change the minimum wage. First off, we're in a pandemic. Look at our unemployment rate. Look at the number of people who don't have a job. And now we're saying, oh, we're going to kill more jobs by raising the minimum wage. You know what you get paid when you don't have a job? Zero. I grew up in a poor family. I watched my dad's car get repossessed twice. When you lose your job, it's a zero pay. So when they're talking about raising the minimum wage, they're saying, oh, we don't care about jobs. Just like the Keystone Pipeline, they killed, 10,000 jobs there. The Biden administration, the Democrats, do not care about your jobs. What I did when I was governor, we added 1.7 million jobs because we figured out how to grow businesses. They're doing just the opposite. Right. So, and then this package is just a payback to liberal Democrats.
Yeah, it's a very small portion is actually going to pandemics. It's going to be spent this year. Most of this stuff is going to be spent down the line. We haven't spent the stuff that's been there. Over $1 trillion has not been spent. Meanwhile, Senator, you have a lot to discuss today. You're going to be one of the key speakers there. You have a lot of responsibility in your shoulders. You got to get the Senate back. You got about 20 seats to retain. So what's going to be your theme today?
Well, first off, I want to talk about the Republican Civil War has been canceled. We are not going to go backwards. We're not going to fight within ourselves. We're going to say, what is the Biden administration doing? The Democrats are now the Socialist Party. Socialism is their policy. So think about the bad things that are going to happen to families all across this country because of socialism. Look at Venezuela. Look at China. Look at Cuba. Look at what's going on in these countries. We don't want that. So what I'm going to talk about is we're going to win in 22 because we're going to focus on the issues. We're going to get Americans jobs. We're going to open up their schools, give them school choice. We're going to support our law enforcement. We're going to have a strong military. We're going to have a secure border. We're going to do these things that are going to be good for Americans. That's what I'm going to talk about today.
And if people are going to be looking for you, because a lot of experts say that you're going to be one of the candidates for president, looking at your resume, and if you could pull this off, that would certainly help by flipping the Senate back. Senator Rick Scott, always great to talk to you.
See you, Brian. Have a good day.